Ladies and gentlemen, and others, I come to you today with a heavy heart, quite the heavy heart. So, this is Danger Dan, and I've returned with some more Guilty Gear Strive gameplay, some more ranked matches. So listen, I received some unfortunate news yesterday. News that I'm sure some of you had also received, seeing as how it was given out. But Guilty Gear, the game we are covering here, it is no longer being released on April 9th. It is now being released June 11th. Got pushed back 2 months. Now, although it's unfortunate, the reason it got pushed back is the correct reason to push a game back, you know? So, because they got such heavy feedback off the beta, which seemed to be more than they bargained for, they decided that there was no way they could release the game in the state that they had it in based off everything that the community was saying about the game. So, because of that, they decided, instead of releasing the game as is and fixing it over time, they're just going to hold back the release, do everything they can to fix up as many things as the community brought up to them, and then release the game. So, it's bittersweet because you want the game to come out as soon as possible. Like, holy shit, I want this game to be out right now. You know? It's really, like, upsetting to not be able to play this game. This is my favorite game right now, and it's not even out. You know? And, like, although that sucks, at the same time, you look at the other side of it, and it's like, well, at least since the game's coming out later, when it comes out, it's going to be better. You know, it's going to be polished. They apparently are going to be fixing everything that can be fixed, aside from the way the lobby looks, like the whole 2D Minecraft sprite lobby. That's sticking around, but the functionality of things is what's going to be improved. So hopefully that means that all of that wait time between matches is gone. Hopefully they added a rematch button. Hopefully they have some form of private lobbies or private matches, you know, to where you can just be in a room with 1 or 2 other people instead of having to be in the park lobby on some fighter shit. You know, I don't really like lobbies like that. You know, I like the way Grand Blue does lobbies, where they have the public lobby, but then you can make private rooms as well. So if they add that, that'd be nice. That was really the only thing that I had a problem with. And also, a clearer way to track, like, the ranks, or rather in the rank system in the tower, because you don't know how many matches you need to win to get to the next floor, because it's always random, it seems, you know, because, like, I lost the first match that we played in ranked, and I started off on the 6th floor after the bullshit qualifier, which was just to fight the computer. I think I only had to fight you only had to fight one computer. So started off on the 6th floor, lost 1 game, and got sent to the 5th floor, and then won 2 games, or rather the next 2 games, to get sent back to the 6th floor. So it was like, what? How exactly is that counted? Now, doesn't mean I had to win the match that or rather make up the point that I lost and then get another point, because to get from the 6th to the 7th floor, I can't tell you how many games that took, because it was a lot. And it wasn't because of a lot of losses. It was just like, how do they count up your points to move you to the next floor? Like, how does it work? There's no clear indicator. Feel me? You know, you could take out somebody who has a really high level character, and that counts as taking out a strong opponent, even if they just got that high level from playing the character. Like, I feel like that's something that's going to be common when the game comes out. because I'm pretty sure there's going to be more than one way to level up your character. Like, I'm pretty sure you're not just going to have to fight other people. Games like this, typically, you can level up your character in, like, story mode. So you might see somebody with a high-ass level on their character, but they got that from story mode, and they're actually trash. You know? So, if that's how they measure it, then it's still uneven. So, if they can clean that up, as well as just the functionality of the lobby, you know, the wait times, and the options, and like I said, add a private lobby, hopefully, add a rematch button. Those are really the only things that I think were needed. You know, everything else I was fine with, honestly. I didn't really have a problem with the system. I didn't have a problem with the design. The lobbies are ugly, but I don't think they're bad. They just need to be cleaned up a bit, which is, again, what we can assume will happen with the game being pushed back. It really sucks, because when the game comes out now, it's going to be June, which means it's going to be around the summertime. And there's no telling what life is going to look like by then. Like, the game coming out in April would have been really good, you know? But the later the game comes out, it's the less time that we'll be able to play together, you know? Like, there's a good chance, like, I won't get to play Troy too much when the game comes out. Probably get to play Gunshot more often than not, just because his situation is more accessible. But, like, I won't get to play Troy as often. Probably won't get to play True, which means all of our matches are going to be like online games. I mean, hopefully we can meet people while playing this game, because I plan on being serious about this game. I do want to try and meet as many strong training partners as possible. I mean, as many as possible. At the very least, one person for each character in the game. Like, if I can have someone, or rather we can have people on our friend list who are proficient, at least one person who's proficient with at least one person from the cast. So 15 characters in the game, bare minimum 15 people, with each of those people having mastered the corresponding character, you know? So a strong Milia, a strong Kai, a strong Chip, Potemkin, things like that, in case I'm not explaining it well enough. But that's usually, like, I would call that the first step in improving in a game, is to know a bunch of people who play the game, and hopefully they all use different characters, so you can get as much matchup knowledge as possible in the little pool of people that you're in. You know, because between me, Troy, and Gunshot, honestly, we'll probably cover at most half the cast, you know, outside of main matchups. So it'll be pretty good, but it won't be sufficient enough to compete at like a high level. You know, I'm talking like maybe going to tournaments and shit like that for this game. Certainly not with poor execution like that. But again, so yeah. Because the game's coming out later, another thing is, you know, I don't think the excitement for the game is gonna die down, but I am worried that the enthusiasm, like my personal enthusiasm, won't be, like, it'll take too long to come back, you know, because I'm gonna be looking forward to the game, and the fact that the game's coming out later, look forward to it even more. Like, that's not gonna change. But as far as like my image training and my comfortability with the game, you know, that's what I'm worried about. Especially since last night, once we saw that this shit wasn't coming out till June, me and Troy, we was just like, fuck it, we about to start playing Xrd Rev 2. And yeah, because we had bought the game to get comfortable for this game, and now that this game ain't coming out for another 3 months instead of the 1, then it's just like the only way we're gonna get to play Guilty Gear is if we play Xrd, which was the one that came out before this one. And as far as fighting games go, I only want to play Guilty Gear. I tried playing Grand Blue last night with Gunshot, and I just couldn't get into it. I really couldn't. Like, when you play Guilty Gear, and I was like new to Guilty Gear, So from playing Guilty Gear and then going to play Grand Blue, felt like I had blocks of cement completely encasing my fucking legs. Like I couldn't move. You know, felt like I was jumping dumb low. I was trying to air dash, that wasn't working. I was trying to burst, like I was trying to RC. I could not wrap my mind around getting back into that game. You know, it was just like, I couldn't do it. It's not that I don't enjoy Grand Blue, but I enjoy Guilty Gear more. That's all. So, funny enough, we had played Grand Blue, and then me, True, and Troy, we played Fight the Gods. We only played for like a half hour. I think everybody played 2 games. That game's okay. If you like that kind of game, you could probably get into it. It's a real old school 2D style fighter. But then me and Troy threw on Exert, and like I got into it immediately. And it was funny too, because we only played that game once before we played Strive. And when we played it last night, because of playing Strive, even though that game, it moves at a different speed, like it's a lot faster than Strive, it's still Guilty Gear. And I see the mechanics of that game are still very similar to Strive. You know, like it has the same defensive options, the same offensive options. I think it has a couple extra. But it's like, it was really dope. And that game's fun because there are characters in that game that more than likely won't be in Strive. But the game is still like, it still looks good. Like it didn't come out so long ago that it's ugly. Oh yeah, look at that. So, just to talk about the matches real quick, because I'm talking a lot about not the matches. So, the one thing about my playstyle I like to do, so when I'm fighting somebody, if they hit me with something and it worked, and if I can do the same thing, then 9 times out of 10, I'll completely and totally copy what they just did. I mean, like, down to the way they set it up, to the way it ended. Like, everything. I'll try to mimic it completely. And I do that because, one, I want to convince you that I can do anything that you can do, for the one. And for two, it gets into people's heads when they see you copy them. It's just like, what? This nigga just copied me? Fuck out of here. And then they start to want to prove that you aren't as good as they are. And then they start fucking up. The only person who knows how often I like to go for that is Troy. So I'm giving y'all a game. It ain't gonna matter too much, because even if you fought me, you would still fall victim to the tech. Yeah, slam that 5P. Slam it. She was terrified. I don't blame her. Counter. See, I won't be able to do this until June, you know? And the way Soul plays in this game, I actually really like over the way he plays in Exert. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna play him too much in Exert. I was using Dizzy last night, and Troy was using Ino. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I think it's safe to say that's his favorite female character in Guilty Gear. When she's in Strive, he's gonna main her, which I already knew. I didn't think he would main her over Kai. I think I talked about that already. I didn't think he would main her over Kai, but it turns out that he is. So it's pretty interesting. I really want to see how she plays in Strive. Like, I want to feel how it is to fight against her, because in Exert, she has this really unique mechanic where her regular dash puts her in the air. So she doesn't have to jump to get in the air. She can dash at you, and then all of her attacks count as being in the air. So she hits you with about 4 overheads, and she didn't jump. So there was no, like, typical reaction that you would get to see somebody jumping at you, because she's not jumping at you. She's floating at you. It's actually really fucking annoying to fight, but it's really cool, because I haven't seen that in the fighting game before. So I wonder how to implement that in Strive. Seeing as how Strive is a little slower than Exert.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
without a doubt, if I wasn't using Soul, Ram Lethal would be the character who has been in these videos the most free. Holy shit. But yeah, so you know what I would like, if you was looking forward to Guilty Gear like OD, you know, I would appreciate it if you hit that comment section. Let me know if you upset that I got pushed back to June, or maybe you are an understanding individual and you can see the logic to it being pushed back. But still, I'd like to know how you feel about it, because if you watch these videos, then I assume you're a fan of Guilty Gear. So I would also assume that you were looking forward to Shroud coming out. So yeah, let me know how you feel about the date getting pushed back. You know, hit that comment section. And even if you don't talk about Guilty Gear, you can hit the comment section anyway. You know, I would really like it if I could interact with my audience. I feel like people don't leave comments because they aren't comfortable being the first person to leave a comment, you know, because the channel isn't very popular right now. But I think as we build up momentum and popularity, people will start leaving comments more often, because they'll start to feel more comfortable to do it, because they won't feel like they're the only person writing on a blank wall that a bunch of people will notice, but not too many people will respond to. That's just how I think about it anyway. That was bad. I definitely should have got a revolver off that close heavy. Rather off that slash heavy. And then cancel the vortex when it was gonna hit. That's the second time I've done that this week. I did that I think I did like 2 or 3 videos ago. In the same scenario too, fighting Ram Lethal. Making the read that she's gonna shoot the sword and just going completely under it and not dealing with it in the slightest. The one thing that I'm hoping for the most is that they don't change anything with the characters. You know, like they don't change any of the frame data, anything like that. Like, just leave the characters the way they were. I say that because both Anji and Aino, they weren't in the beta, so they're gonna come out into the game the way they were intended. But if too many people were complaining too much about the characters that were in the beta, then there's a good chance that they get changed, which would suck, because this beta was a lot more like interactive than most betas, especially for it only being like truly only being out for 2 days, where the servers weren't fucked. But you know, I feel like this beta had like a really big impact on people. It made them feel like they were playing the game. And I know surely it's like that on YouTube, because people are posting videos for this game as if it's out right now, and like they made those videos today, when really they just did the smart thing and stockpiled as much footage as they could from the beta. Because, you know, I truly think this game is going to be like the next popular game. You know, I feel like when this game comes out, it's actually going to steal the spotlight from like a lot of the bigger games out there. You know, the Street Fighters and the Dragon Ball fighters and Mortal Kombat, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, are probably the top 3 fighting games right now as far as popularity. But yeah, I just hope they don't change anything with the characters. Like, just leave them the way they are. If you're gonna change them, and just like do it in the first patch of the game, you know, because even though the beta was accessible for everybody, not everybody got to play it. And I would hate if they adjusted Soul when the game came out and like he wasn't the way he was in the beta. But I thought he was great. I didn't have any problems with him, and I didn't even really get to like learn him. You know, he was barely scratching the surface. We'll see. But yeah, that's like how I'm feeling about it. It sucks. Like, really, it really sucks. And once we're done with the videos from the beta, probably, I don't know, as far as fighting games go, I actually, depending on how how hard we go for Exert, I might start recording that. As far as fighting games go. But other than that, you just go back to regularly scheduled programming until June, which would have been until April, because it was just like, yeah, you know, so we have like 2, maybe 3 weeks of Strive videos from the beta, and then we just do a filler arc until April, because that would have only been, what, 5 weeks? Would have been 5 weeks that the game was coming out. Now it's 15 weeks. Ugh. Here we are with the last match. And yes, it's Rom Lethal, everybody's favorite girl. We won't get to see her for too much longer, but once we are seeing her again, I'm pretty sure she's all we're gonna be seeing. Nah, but on the real, when this game comes out, probably, like, as far as fighting games go, I said it before, but as far as fighting games go, this is it. Like, I'm probably not gonna be playing anything else. Probably won't be uploading anything else. I may even begin my stream career with this game. I don't know, because I'm oh man, I want this game more than any other game right now. So for now, we'll just do the longest filler arc ever in between when the game actually comes out, and we'll start to upload pretty much whatever we can, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. If you enjoyed, as I would always beseech you to, leave a like. As I said before, hit the comment section. Let me know how you feel about the game being pushed back, or if you just want to say what's up. And, you know, subscribe to the channel so that you could be around when we break past the 8th floor in the real game and make it to the Celestial floor. And you can be there and say, yeah, I remember when this soul was still in beta phase. And now we're here. So, don't forget, it's a dangerous world out there. So are you.